Special thanks to Xter for making this episode possible. More on them in a minute. Ibadan, the capital and most populous city in Oyo State, Nigeria, has 4 million people that fill its more than 3,000 square kilometers of land to its brim. Ibadan first started off as a military state in 1829, its thick forests and savanna hills making for an advantageous war campsite for local warriors coming from Oyo, Ife, and Ijebu, and it remained like that until the last decade of the 19th century. Because of this, in Ibadan, unlike other Yoruba cities where kings of divine bloodline were the top of the social ecosystem, the warrior class became the rulers of the cities, as well as the most important economic group. I think the spirit of Ibadan is captured simply in the spectrum of where its name comes from, Eba Odan, which literally means by the edge of the meadow, to the nickname it was given by its people, Idi Ibon, or gun base. Ibadan has a tropical wet and dry climate with a lengthy wet season and relatively constant temperatures throughout the year. Temperatures were around 95 degrees almost every day that I was there, but it was mostly a dry heat. I got accustomed to wearing these long-sleeved kaftans that my cousin, who is a designer, custom made for me. Not to brag, but look at it, I got that shit on. Here are a couple of fun facts about Nigeria. In Nigeria, you can't drink the tap water unless you want to shit yourself silly. Fellow viewers who also have family from the global south will not be surprised by the information. It's not that big of a deal. You just buy bottled water. Sometimes the family you visit, say your uncle who's a chief of a small town, don't have enough bottled water on hand, so they'll offer you a malt or maybe even a rosé. Did you know that on average, rosé has an average alcohol content of 13%? Not me. I'm not much of a drinker, but I absolutely hate malts. Did you know alcohol severely dehydrates you? Did you know that sweating out of every pore of your body is also very dehydrating? Okay, the last one is a math question. What do you get when you add thick heat, moderate inebriation, no liquids, in a city-state with almost as many potholes as Baltimore, Maryland? My third day in the homeland, I got my answer.
Get your money, man. Life goes on.
I'm hopeful, yes I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it. Let it take you away and be hopeful, hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, cause we hopeful.
Men. It's June, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So let me be the first one to say, you deserve nice things. And this, my brother in Christ, ain't it?
Ugh. Brother, ugh.
You've been carrying the same crusty, dusty, musty wallet since high school. It's thick, it's sad, it smells like failed parlays and OnlyFans subscriptions. Enter Xter. RFID blocking, slim, sleek, and bam, cars pop out smoother than your therapist telling you to open up more. It has a lifetime warranty and holds 12 to 14 cars in total, all in a new ergonomic shape engineered to fit perfectly in the palm of your hand. And if you're forgetful, and I know you be forgetting your wallet, the tracker card makes sure you never lose your wallet again, easily connecting to Find My, and is compatible with Android. And you'll want to act fast because Xter's Father's Day sale just got extended, up to 40% off until June 3rd. Plus, you can use my code, yeah, we got a code now, ColorMine, at checkout for another 10% off. Listen, one thing my father taught me was the art of smelling a good deal. So once again, head over to Xter and get yourself a Parliament wallet with this beautiful leather finish, or the Cardholder Pro for up to 40% off until June 23rd, and extra 10% off when you use my code ColorMine at checkout. Now let's get back to the video. So here I was looking like Zuko fresh off the Acne Kai, Timu brand Mike Tyson, the boy who mid. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. And it felt like the last straw. I arrived in Nigeria in a weird transitionary moment of my HBO Max ass series of a life. Two really big events happening back to back in my personal life really shook how I saw myself. I found myself not only doubting my worth as a man, but as a person. Maybe it's too dramatic. It's more like I could no longer describe what my worth was. Like someone erased a blueprint while I was halfway through construction. A classic identity crisis, sure, but one without a clear 3-act structure or Ludwig Göransson soundtrack. Just me, floating. Hot take given the circumstances, but I don't think I have issues with self-esteem. I actually have a pretty good sense that I'm pretty awesome. I have receipts of me doing amazing things, accomplishments I know I should be proud of, should be proof that at my best, I'm capable of the life I want. Nigga, FD Signifier shouted me out. I'm never gonna fail. But the dirty truth is, I know that dude doesn't come into work all the time. I know I have the potential to be the person I envision in my head, but I can't trust myself to be consistently that person, even when I'm working on myself. Because there's so many times I just haven't been him. Dr. Russell Barkley, retired American clinical neuropsychologist and OG ADHD advocate, likes to say that ADHD is a disorder of doing what you already know, not of learning what to do. In other words, the main bottleneck is often at the point of performance rather than absorbing that information in the first place. And I relate to that. One of my biggest sources of shame, like many other people with ADHD, is that I am super consistent at not doing or being able to do what I said I was going to do, even when I really want to do it. Those internal and external failures compound each time, and inevitably they dilute self-confidence. You become unsure of your ability to keep promises, even to yourself. We all like to believe our lives move in a straight line, year by year, getting better, a little more disciplined, a little more insightful. But when I zoom out, life hardly ever feels like growth in the moment. It feels like survival. Like, sure, I finished school, I got the job, bought a car, I moved out, I checked the boxes. But it felt like I did all of that on autopilot. Like I was following a GPS that I never double checked. Maybe it's because I didn't believe I'd even get this far. Or if I did, I thought by then, surely I'd leveled up into some sort of competent, put together adult who could handle the next stage. Instead, something hits you in the face out of nowhere and you realize, oh shit, I'm still just me, foolish, flailing, faking it. I hate my job. My rent eats over half of my income. My car, repossessed. Not because I was late on a payment. It's just so shitty that my insurance company laughed at the repair cost compared to its total value. And now I'm 9,000 miles away from home on a different continent, crashing out with an ice pack pressed to my skull. Realizing that I might have spent my 20s grinding to win a scavenger hunt where I didn't bother to have anybody explain to me the rules, if there were rules. And the worst part, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be looking for next. That's the thought that gutted me. I need to start over. And when I looked in the mirror, what I saw wasn't the little Nigerian prince that my mom calls me. It was just me. An avoidant, clumsy fuck up with nothing figured out. And here with the scar to prove it. Which is kind of ironic, because my grandma had abaja marks on her face. 3 bold stripes across each cheek, deep enough to tell the world who she was and where she belonged. In Oyo culture, they call this okola, a sign of clan membership, identity, legacy. In our culture, you wear your history on your skin. And as a kid, I remember being really enamored by that. I used to fantasize about what it would be like to have a mark like hers or some of my older uncles, to be branded not as damaged, but as claimed. My last grandparent, Big Mummy Florence, passed away late last year. She lived well into her 80s, so while it was sad, the focus wasn't on mourning. It was on celebrating her life. I even wore white to the wake and yellow to the funeral, 2 of Big Mummy's favorite colors. Big Mummy moved to Ibadan at 15 and spent the rest of her life there, except for maybe 2 years in the 2010s when her oldest daughter, my mom, brought her to America so she could finally spend some time with her grandkids. I was in college then, so I only saw her during semester breaks and the occasional holiday, but you didn't need a lot of time with Big Mummy to understand who she was. Her cleaning was meticulous, her voice melodic, her tone aged and maternal. I only understood about 15% of whatever she was saying at any given time, but when she would smile, which was wide and often, I understood that completely, that I was safe. She never received a formal education, never saw the inside of anything after primary school, maybe, but she was sharp, hardworking, and incredibly industrious. I credit her for my family's genetic ability to be about our back. She started her first business at 16, and over her lifetime, she ran several businesses: catering, event planning, selling foods and home goods. She would wake up at 4 a.m. every day to prepare meals, and people would line up into the main street for her famous moi moi as early as 6 a.m. Even in her 80s, she had the energy of someone 3 decades younger. She ran her food shop daily until she passed, and was actively planning to expand her business to include rice because her neighborhood kept asking for it. I think the most important thing to know about Big Mummy is that she found her identity in serving others, especially through food, because she understood to feed someone is to give them a little bit of comfort, is to keep them safe in at least one aspect. My grandmother passed in her sleep peacefully. Someone was preparing her a meal in the new house my mom was finally able to build for her in her hometown while she rested. That same day, she had spent 4 hours on the phone with my mom. 2 of those hours in prayer. She was a very big prayer warrior. And the other 2 hours talking about how, oh yeah, she planned to start selling rice, even though my mom was begging her to slow down for a second. I can't find that to be a sad way to go out. Big Mummy served her people well, literally fed them, and was taken care of by the same people she poured into. I wonder if she trusted that it would all work out this way.
Upgrade your gear, poser.
Self-trust, in my personal definition, is your awareness and ability to figure shit out. Note, I did not say self-trust is the idea that you are certain you can do it perfectly. No. Self-trust is the knowledge that things will go wrong, plus your belief that you'll be able to adapt accordingly. Think about SGA getting to the cup, or scoring from mid-range, or putting from 3. True confidence comes from believing that you're going to score and allowing the form to reveal itself in time. The true difference between a shooter and a scorer is the amount of self-respect he holds in his hands, his willingness to create space when there is none. This actually relates to an old video I did a while back about algorithmic bias and colorism on YouTube. The triangle of the self, self-evaluation, self-esteem, and self-efficacy is all powered, in my opinion, by the extent to which you respect yourself. When you imagine yourself as a distrustful or inconsistent person, you treat yourself the way you would treat a friend who was trustful or inconsistent, right? Like, is it clicking yet? If you're not careful, a lack of self-respect will become the inner voice that drowns out any other type of positive dialogue you try to have with yourself until you shut yourself off completely. It'll have you being in relationships that don't truly serve you, using substances to numb parts of your life you don't want to think about, or abusing sex or porn to cover anxieties about the amount of control you don't have in your life. But here's the thing. You know how it feels when you're making a decision that's aligned with your true values and not in what you think is expected of you. The warm, easy sensation it creates in your body. Or maybe you did at some point, but somewhere along the path of adolescence and adulthood, your mind came to the conclusion that authenticity wasn't a safe aesthetic to express, and maybe at the time it wasn't, but you've done enough now. You survived it all. You don't know what you're doing, but bear with me here. Perhaps you know the perfect amount of game knowledge to run your champion better than anyone else could. You're trying to level up your character model when really you need to be mastering the quirks of your custom build. Stay with me now. I'm saying you don't need to craft a better image of yourself. You need to trust yourself as you are now, because you are already who you want to be right now. Which is nice and all. I saw it on an Instagram reel on the flight back in the middle of watching The Wild Robot, 5 out of 5 movie, by the way. And I can already hear you in the comments. How the fuck do you do that, though? Well, luckily this is Swatches, where I don't have to have all the fucking answers. I'm not hangry. I'm not your daddy. But I'm working on it. And trust, when I do, I'll let you know. People in the chat over 30, I'd love to hear how you found yourself in adulthood, and maybe a gentle reassurance that it'll get better at some point. I'd honestly really appreciate it. But let me tell you this. The funny thing about a scar is that it stings at first, but isn't that just the proof that you're healing for the better? And as always, thanks for watching.